What's up, everybody, and welcome back here at Big Old Belt Media for another recap review show of Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3, Episode 7. This episode is titled Deal or No Deal. Lucas and I back, ready to talk our talk. Walk that walk, what we do each and every week. We appreciate you all the love in the comments, all the theories, all the predicting, all the engagements. You all are awesome. Totally appreciate it. We got a lot to talk about tonight. So many things to talk about, but I am going to jump the gun because Lucas already know where I'm going at off rip. Clearly. Now listen, folks. You all know we are two kings from the DMV. Y'all know it. And you gonna make a DMV reference, you know we're gonna have to spend some time on that. So we're gonna stretch out a scene off break right now for you all. And you all appreciate it. We even got some DMV fans that come through here, whether we got some personal friends or there's folks from us that we never connected with that is from this area. So y'all already know where we're going at here. And we're going at with y'all king. Super Hotep.
Oh man.
Saleem, whose true identity was revealed today. You know why I want to talk about this? Because we're from the DMV, PG County. We're talking about DC. We're talking about Northern Virginia. That means not Baltimore, not Richmond,
not Virginia Beach. None of them. No. Hey, I don't even fully represent the DMV because I'm from DC. That is not the DMV. But I understand what you're saying. Yes, but yeah. And no 222s and earns on this side of the DMV.
and over the years, we have grown to accept and appreciate our brethrens out of Montgomery County. They didn't always get a pass. Even them back in the day used to have like the nah, you don't belong in here type of personality. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because, and this is a significant plot point here, because everybody's been throwing theories at who Saleem really is. Did we have any idea that Diana was going to get to the bottom of this for us? Because in this particular scene, Diana reveals that Super Hotep Saleem himself, actual real name is Trevor Nelson, out of Silver Spring, Maryland, fresh out of Montgomery County. I could not help but to die laughing at this scene. I just want to take it to you, Lou, first off, and we'll stop back up at the top of the episode after this. But Lou, when you heard that, knowing that that's like 10-15 minutes up the road, which, by the way, that is where we frequently see our movie premieres. So just so you know, just so you don't think we just Diddy bopping in Silver Spring all wild.
Let you know the type of neighborhood it is that they feel it is safe for critics to go up here at 8, 9, 11 o'clock at night to see a movie premiere. That should tell you.
What did you think about the reveal of? And again, we're starting off here not only because of the connection, but because you all have been throwing all types of theories around Saleem, saying he's a CI, he's working with Noma. Listen, this wasn't in our group chat, not our group chat, our comments, because I would delete this, but I've seen it in the Facebook group chat that somebody believes that he may be related to Tariq. Y'all are wild. Y'all are wild.
I saw that.
Because by saying he's related to Tariq, I know what y'all really saying. He's related to
Ghost lost long son.
I know what y'all getting at here. But yeah, as we got the reveal of Trevor Nelson, who has a very interesting background. He's out here portraying a person that he truly isn't, which really I could talk about that a little bit. But
he matched the tone of so many Silver Spring guys I know who swear to God they are the toughest thing in the world, but they are questioning riders like Mr. Trevor here. I mean, I think it was an amazing reveal to pull out that the Hotep is Papa Doc from 8 Mile, and Clarence has really nice parents. And then to have him be adopted by white Republicans. Oh my God. We always appreciate a reference to the DMV. I don't know what it is with television shows in Silver Spring and Bethesda, but y'all have pinpointed that is where the fakest people on planet Earth that happens to be black reside. I'm not going to say that's the case because Silver Spring, just like any other thing, has extremely rough neighborhoods in Silver Spring. But I'll just also bring up that's where Dave Chappelle is from. Even though for some odd reason he's claimed as being DC, he is from Silver Spring, Maryland. Like it. I'm trying to be nice here because it was hilarious when they pinpointed he was from Silver Spring. I don't know where you ride horses at in Silver Spring. I'm a little confused about that element of it.
Probably Bethesda, like, man. And they say he went to a prep school, so he went to Georgetown Prep.
Oh, we already know where he went to. Yeah. Yes, Georgetown Prep. It's in Silver Spring. Again, oh my God. It's funny just because this is the reveal that we didn't know we needed. We didn't know we needed this super hotep to be the whitest of the whites here. The most privileged person. Literally, when they had that discussion in class about the most privileged person, he would have beat everyone out. Because he's hands down the most privileged person. When Diana says, you know what, you're going to give up your hours for people that need it because of the size of your trust fund, that should tell you just how much money. I wonder how is it when he goes home to his parents, the people who raised him, because those are his parents. And does he just code switch right back? Like, because you can't be super hotep to white parents. I mean, we haven't seen that since Colin Kaepernick. So, I mean, like, how do you do that switch back up to make it make sense here? It's hilarious because it's a wrinkle that no one saw coming. No one can go in the comments and say, oh man, I knew he was going to be that way. Nah, not a chance. You may have thought he is leaning too heavy into the hotep bag, and maybe he was a black kid that maybe had a nice upbringing, but you'd have never thought that his parents were Republicans who supported Trump's lies and election. That just came out the blue.
I mean,
a hell of a card pull by Diana, because this is something
it was.
I can't wait to talk about Diana for the rest of this episode, because Monet fake ass and all this fake love she was showing Diana, all of a sudden it's my baby, my baby. 2 episodes ago, you wouldn't let her walk in a club that you were in. Okay. Like, I don't know what happened here. Like, Monet killed Poppy, and then all of a sudden she cares for Diana. I'm highly confused here. But again, I like this because it shows that, one, Diana is very serious about her business. 2, she stuck up for other people here. When she was like, nah, you taking money away from kids who really need it to portray a fake image that you want these people on campus to believe you by? How didn't his teacher know this though?
And I, I think there's a PII aspect to it why the teacher wouldn't know. The teacher can obtain a certain level of background, but I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's a hell of a front that he put on, and if she didn't know, that just tells you the work that he did. There's a lot to make about it. And I will say this too, also being from PG County here, like, it's folks that, like, I grew up in a very reasonable neighborhood. I had a front yard, I had a backyard, grass, I had all sorts of just regular, normal living things. And I'm blessed to have that, right? But then there was folks I know who had exactly that. But then you hear them perpetrating like they were from Trinidad, some quarters. I'm like, because I can walk to your house if I must.
It's so many kids in these nice, affluent neighborhoods that just want to be tough or be tough by association. And I try to tell every single one of them, 1, you're not tough. 2, be happy that your parents put you in a predicament where you didn't have to be tough. Like, I played a part of raising 3 kids right now. Luckily, none of them portray the image of being hard. Yes, while I may have come from a certain neighborhood, you did not come from anything of this nature. And to feel the need to be that street guy, or for Saleem, it's to feel wanted by his community. I think that's the most important thing. I don't think he felt secure enough to be himself. So he made up an image of what he thought a black person would be. That's the sad part there, is that that's an image that you came up with because you pieced together the things that will make you black, and you went with that. And you
That
took on a struggle that you didn't have to, instead of being a young black man who could tell a story of, yes, I was adopted by these people. I don't have their beliefs, but they love me. They took care of me. This is who I am. I'm influent. I can have influence over other people's lives. You did none of that. Instead, you went the angle of, nah, I'm gonna be a super hotep. I'm gonna turn on as many Dr. Umar videos as possible. I'm gonna soak up all that teaching, and then I'm gonna go by that. And that's it's sad in a way that he chose to go down that road.
Yeah, there's a lot to kind of make of the psychology of this character, and we're gonna stop. We're gonna start at the top of the show in a second, but I do want to put emphasis to understand that, one, I think the actor's doing a fantastic job, because the swerving and the angles that we got with this character, the mannerisms and everything, I think truly do live up to the idea that he was never really truly living in his own skin. That's why everything felt a little bit off. And I think that when you see people, like, you know, if you ever go in the out and you see people walking with their chest out like they tough, could be hurt, you could be broken, could be anything inside of them. You never know. You know, it could be a mental health thing. You just don't know. And I think that why we see him really like have these sort of just unorthodox mannerisms, you start to say, and people were throwing all types of slanders at him to only find out that like he was never really truly living in his own means. And I think you nailed it on the idea that, I think you know, there might have been a point in a lot of people's lives where you were never able to truly embrace being black, because you were always worried about what society thought about you. Let's just call it what it is. Look what school he's going to. You know what I mean? While the school does look very diverse, I could imagine somebody like him thinking like, well, I look this way, but came from this way. I don't know where to fit in that, because I identify with them, but I look like them. My story's not like Diana's, but my story sort of sounds like Brayden's and Becca, you know, my parents and politician. They clearly got influence. Nice ass trust fund. You ain't struggling for nothing. So you had to create a fantasy in order to be, and as she said, you have your flunkies who look up to you as their hero. Because you created this platform, you created this sort of narrative that, hey guys, if you want to be like me, this is how you have to do it, when you never even lived that story yourself. I think there's a huge inner conflict with this character that serves a bigger purpose than what we're actually seeing right now, but we're starting to see it start to reveal itself. And I think even at the point where Diana held him accountable, will be very interesting to see what change he makes, because this is not a character. This is a reoccurring character. He's been in every episode. So you think if you make a casting like this, there's a significant plot point to it. He's not just the love interest of Diana, but I think there may be a level of like maybe maturing between the two characters. But again, while that works for Diana, what does that do for him? And I'm still very curious. But I will say this show is not shy about having characters like this and then easily dismisses of them, as we've seen with what was Zeke teacher love interest? Can't think of her name right now. Carrie Milgram.
Carrie Milgram.
Yeah, you know, a character like that where you're like thinking like, oh, there could be a lot more with her. And she had her background with Kevin Whitman, which we never really seen came to light. She had her little investigative side for like one episode, but you thought like, could it be more? Really didn't do nothing with that. And then the other professor that I just clearly never liked, whatever his name is, I never really liked him, who is a nice guy, by the way. Jabbar. Yes, yeah. We had a few drinks with him. He's a hell of a guy. And he knew it. He watched the reviews. He knew we didn't like it, but you know, that's again a testament to his character. And I think this is another character that's the same way. He's presented himself to be so unlikable that now, what do the audience do knowing that this is a black man struggling to identify himself to be a black man that just didn't come from the black struggle? It's okay. It's okay.
That's a hell of a thing. This character became so much more interesting with this reveal.
Finally.
And this is when we talk about extra content and how you can develop extra content around this show. This character is highly important to something of that nature. Do you imagine the conversation you could have of telling a black kid that you're enough no matter where you come from? He has a hell of a story. If he lived his truth, it's a hell of a story to tell there, because what led you to be adopted by them?
Yeah.
What struggles did your parents have that left you open to be adopted by them? And how were you raised? And that interconflict between the man you want to be versus the man you were raised to be. And how do you separate the two? Again, I brought up Colin Kaepernick for a reason, because that's the struggle that he went through. That's the interesting part of his struggle, is him saying, like, as I got older, I realized some of the things my parents, who loved me, and I know they loved me, but they did things they shouldn't have, or said things to me that they shouldn't have, but they didn't know any better. Like, that's a hell of a thing to have. Just imagine if we had a situation where his parents show up and their parents have to explain to him, how did you donate to a campaign of someone who hates, or who seems to hate, my skin color?
Right. Well, what's the football player that was adopted that went to Ole Miss?
Blindside.
Blindside. Yes.
I forget. I know the movie. I can't remember his name. I want to say it's Michael Orr, but I may be wrong about that. He was a tackle for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely a tackle. You all can get in the comments. Y'all can help us out there. But it's another story. I mean, listen, deep in the South here, you don't even got to even tell me what's going on in that thing as a person who, you know, his beginning
stories out there. Similar. Like, and Silver Spring, in the end, if his parents came from Silver Spring, it ain't like Silver Spring is a community that's predominantly white. That is not the case.
Yeah,
it's a lot of influent Black people in Silver Spring.
Everything. It's definitely a true mixing bowl.
His struggle would have been trying to fit in with a certain crowd. It's so many stories that he could have been told, but he chose to go down this road because he felt it was more easily acceptable to be this man than the man that he actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got real deep here, but I mean, it's a hell of an angle to play here, and we got to give it up the power, right? This season of Ghost has been phenomenal for the layers that they put on these stories.
Yeah, I think, like, you know, and I do love ghost writers, and there's obviously been some to be moments in the season. Let me not get wrong here, but I think when they want to get into the deep intellectual aspects of each episode, there's at least 2 to 3 that you can pull out that you can say, like, you know what, there's absolutely something to be made of here. And I think that while we do have a show for entertainment purposes, I think there is definitely always parts of it to kind of self-reflect into your own personal life or whatever you are interested in terms of media. And I think that, again, Saleem is a character we wrote off for now 7 episodes for him to come out and say, like, man, he hasn't said it, confess, but Diana pointed to him and said, here's a mirror. You're not living in your own skin, sir. And you can't tell me that you haven't went through it or somebody you're around that went through it. As a person who grew up loving anime, Black person loving anime, you know damn well that wasn't accepted in the thing, but I stuck with it. But I can tell you there was a lot of my friends today, and I know y'all watch, and I know y'all, and I love y'all because y'all always pull me to the side and say, I'm so proud that you stuck to what you liked and you do what you do. I wish I had been true to myself too. And I said, it's okay, because I was always going to be myself, and you could have too. But there was plenty of folks like, I ain't listening, I ain't watching that, I ain't doing that, I ain't getting on YouTube, I ain't da-da-da-da-da. Listen.
And then your eyes get opened up by meeting different people. That's the great part of this life. Yeah. Like 15 years ago, there'd been no way in hell me and my partner here would have ever ran close to the same circles to meet each other.
maybe. I was in some, hey, listen, I will talk to you on the side because we gotta get to the show. But listen, we could have. Because I ain't always have it together, all right?
hey, look, except for a random night at the trade wins or maybe the black hole. Or something
talk to me, bro. hey, trade wins right up the tree from Clinton. You already know. I was at the hot shops. I was at the Mad Chef. Hey, listen, I was at Marketplace. I was out here, all right?
But I mean, from a lifestyle perspective, because we're brought up we're in the same area, not
they
far
wouldn't have
apart
permitted
from each
it
other.
there.
Completely different upbringings.
Couple of different shout outs and everybody mugging.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Trust me.
Couple of different shout outs. They're like, all right, who in the black hole tonight? But oh boy, here we go. Anyway, y'all, let's
I love when 640 was shouted out. It felt like home. Felt like peace.
And nobody liked them. Anyway, let's get into it, folks. Tonight's episode, we're starting off with a full-blown war with the Russians, who looked like they're attacking anybody black, but we did get clarification later on in the episode that this was the Jamaican mob, which in this case, the Jamaican Avenue boys, which we see Tiny was killed, and the Russians just, seeking retaliations, man, and revenge, and also sending a message to Kane here. But then we see Monet and Gordo having a talk, and Monet is protecting her baby boy, saying, "Back off, Drew." And this is where we just start to lose all sense of accountability here, because from one moment we get this, as Monet saying, "This is all happening, Gordo, because you pinned Lorenzo's murder on the Russians." And Gordo, who I love, is not intimidated by Monet. Respects, absolutely respects her, which I love this, because I think respect and fear are totally different things, and people at some point start to kind of like blend that for whatever reason. Respect somebody doesn't mean you're scared of them, and to be scared of somebody doesn't mean you respect them in however different ways you want to match that up. But Gordo respects her and is not afraid of her, the boss, the head of the family. He knows everything she contributes to the Tejadas, and says, "This ain't got nothing to do with the Russians. You ain't scared of the Russians. You are actually scared that Drew's going to find the truth here. Your kids are going to find the truth," which directly points to Shadow Realm Lorenzo haunting her, letting her know,
"Oh man,
they're going to find out." Let's start off with you, and just to sum it up, the other little parts of that is that she texts Drew, and Kane immediately said, "We need to have a meeting." And then they both mutually agreed that they have something to lose here. He's going to keep seeing Drew, and ain't shit she's going to do about that. But they both need to keep their mouth closed in order to kind of keep this story going. What did you think about Gordo and Monet's sort of just, and especially how this plays out? But let's just keep it at this moment. What did you think about this initial conversation of what is to come and what is to do with the Russians?
I was trying to figure out who was pulling the biggest power play here.
Okay.
And at the time, I thought it was Gordo because of Drew. In the end, like, he has Drew's heart here, and Monet knows it. So her trying to figure out how they're going to handle this, because she cannot have it be revealed that she's actually the one who killed Lorenzo. And the Russians, to me, just were a backdrop of the drama that ensues between them two. That's it. That's the only thing they're good for here, is to add to the drama of what happens if the kids find out that Monet killed Lorenzo. And Gordo, in the end, Gordo did the right thing. He was revenging his father's death. But Monet feels she did the right thing because she was doing this because he killed her son. Like, it's
so revenging her son's death. Yeah.
It's a hell of a chess move between them two here, and that's all you see here, because we have not seen someone stand up really to Monet besides Lorenzo.
Yeah.
And here, Gordo is very clear. I'm not going to stop loving on your son. Nor am I worried about this. This is your problem. You can't pinpoint it like it's all on me. And in the end, we say, well, you messed up because you put this on the Russians. Who was he supposed to put it on? Like, I think it was put on a force that he assumed was untouchable. So it only made sense here to put it on them. And who would have thought that Drew would become this psychopath for his father's death? I didn't fully foresee that. Him being able to risk everything the way he is. Like, the Russians ain't a small move to make. You would expect Drew to be more calculated in his movements against them. And because he wasn't, and because he was reckless, that's what put this war on them. So in the end, Drew could go after them, but you would have thought he would have put a better plan together for it. So I think that was Gordo's thinking, is like, yeah, there's no way we're going to do this. Like, he's going to think this out a little better than that.
Yeah. I haven't really sat back and thought about the ramifications of Drew's plan, but I will say that Drew, we have to kind of, and you all listen, because I love when you all get engaged in our rankings. So let's just rank now of the Tejada sons, including Brayden and Tariq. Who do you think is the most intelligent? And not sons, kids, because Diana too, but you know, sometimes she doesn't even acknowledge her.
Just
So
eliminated Diana that fast.
Yeah, it's what Monet would have wanted. Who do you all think is the in ranks from, you know, most intelligent to least intelligent of Monet's kids here? Because you
at
know,
this moment or in general,
let's just say
I think that's a different thing.
Let's just say at the conclusion of this episode, what do you think? Because Monet definitely nods towards Tariq being
Tariq. I'm about to say
the
Tariq is number one.
But
Yeah,
she also nods towards Drew being it too, because she always says, Kane, you don't have a plan. Where's Drew? She yells out as Drew, if Drew is like a care package or a lifeline of some sort. And I do agree with you that Drew is mildly compromised because of the grieving. And I think he's also is grieving the loss of his father, but I also think he's grieving the loss of, and not death, obviously, but losing his boyfriend in Everett. And I think that these pressures, and then this sort of this pressure to be the lead son, which is that pressure that Monet kind of put on him, but then kind of yanks it at times, but then kind of like reinstates it. And I think he's in a very conflicted point. Listen, this is a guy that just wanted to draw. And I love this comment from last week. Somebody said, how ironic is it for Drew to be drawing a killer because of I need to read how it was, but I'm gonna get in a second. But this understanding that what Drew is going through and what had happened at the end of this episode tells you that this man's mind is in a state of just flux.
I mean, the symmetry at the end of the episode of the drawer that he grabs the drawer that he grabs the gun out of has a picture of Gordo that he drew in it. Like at the point where this man broke his heart when he found out that he killed his father. Like it's symmetry at its best here. And that's the problem with Drew, I think. In the end, Drew's emotions take him out of the spot of being the rational son.
Yeah.
She kind of pinpoints like Kane is always her number 2. It's kind of weird that she says that, and we believe her when she says that, but Kane wouldn't be naturally the person she would pick to lead. That's the one she trusts the most. Is Kane. She trusts Kane's going to do what Kane's going to do. And that means Kane's going to do his job. Whatever you tell Kane to do, he's going to do it. Drew, on the other hand, I think she babies him a little.
Yeah.
Because she sees the potential of him being a leader, but at the same time, we see Drew struggling at times. And it's not just here. Because we go back to season 1 when he was supposed to make the shot at the truck, and we saw Drew kind of freeze up a little bit. So this is not the first time Drew has shown this before to them. And you kind of wonder, you got to kind of wonder, and I hate to say it this way, but do you think she believes Drew may be a little softer because of his lifestyle?
I don't think
understand the way it was.
I
only bring that up because of the way it was viewed at first. I mean, you can attempt to get over it, but when he still falters a little bit, it's still something you bring up.
Let me read this comment real quick. This comes from last week from MB. Says Drew's drawing a sketch of a killer while looking for a killer is top tier irony. I think they will definitely come back full circle. It's a brilliant comment.
And it did. Right at the end of the
certainly
episode.
did. It certainly did. No, I don't think its sexuality has anything to do with it, because this show does one thing really good besides the overthrowing of sex scenes, which even 50 Cent is right on this one.
Hold up though. Notice I say his lifestyle, not sexuality. And when I said lifestyle, the reason I brought up lifestyle, Drew has fallen for every man
binge dating
he's been with.
For sure.
Like, that's a lifestyle thing. It's people who are gay who don't do that. Drew is not one of them. He falls hard for everybody.
I think what Drew lifestyle, on that note, then is by being on the apps, which makes him very as I call like binge dating, which means that like, you know, you're seeking something at a fast pace, and and even in this case, and definitely his willingness to fall in love so quick definitely makes him vulnerable. I don't think Monet identifies that, because I think two things. I don't think she should, because I think in apps and dating is a generational difference. She should not be able to relate or identify that because it's a whole different styling of dating to where she came from, which we see her kind of emphasize about how her dating life was and what type of things is revealing to her. I do think that she's very aware that Drew is easily tempted to be in love and can be oblivious to times of the full circle instead of just not eyeing in on one particular thing, which hold that thought because it is going to be very interesting to talk about if Monet made the right decision later on this episode. So we get Tariq and Lauren, and this is very easily a conversation of the two of them trying to regain their old lifestyle. Lauren does not trust Tariq, and Lauren and Tariq makes it clear about the decisions he's made, as he says, like I killed Raina because of a dirty cop and Ray.
Wow. Yes. Well, he's responsible for Raina's death. He did not kill Raina.
Right. I mean, and again, I mean, like, I'm not going to try to like fact check anything, but I'm going to say that I know Sax was going to say things out of anger and emotion because let's not forget how much of a hard on Sax, Blanca, the whole Rico tribe get for him, which I got to bring up as everybody's making this other correlation to this new DA agent. Will he also have a hard on for the St. Patrick's? We will see. But I mean, like, so you understand that, like, wow, whenever it comes down to Tariq or the St. Patrick's, they just laser focus on it and they just throw away any bit of reasoning or anything else. And I think that, like, when Sax was kind of explaining to Lauren about why Tariq was doing the things he did, I think it was a lot of emotion over fact. But I think that Tariq comes back and tries to clean some of that up. And now it just allows Lauren to just decide what she wants to believe and what she doesn't. But as I said, she doesn't believe him, and she says they just want to get back to their old lives and whatever that's going to take. But it's very important that we do state that Tariq just wants to know what the feds got on him. We'll talk about a little bit of that later. Brayden and Kiki, because they're having sex, and it's so good. Kiki's having an amazing time. And God, if I ain't know no better.
You said that like she... You said that like you just knew she was faking it.
Oh, I did. Oh, I absolutely did. And I'm so glad that I'm right, because this would have been the biggest hating scene ever. It would have been the biggest.
If you'd have said that and that wasn't the case, because she was going a little.
Because my notes are my notes.
It was a little. It was a little much, and I'm like, come on,
my notes are my notes, and I'm glad I was able to prove them right in this episode. But I will say it's interesting that Tariq Brayden gets off of Kiki, and the first thing he thinks about is Tariq. What do you make,
brother?
But explain to me why that is his initial thoughts. That even Kiki looks at him and say, "Man, what's wrong?" And I'm thinking, like, bro, you just smashed the cheeks of Kiki. This person that you clearly had eyes on the moment you walked in there, and the moment you roll over, Tariq name is the first that comes out of your mouth. Oh, what is the overall picture here? Or is this just television?
No. It's an unfinished issue between him and his brother. Like, in the end, like, we understand just how close Tariq and Brayden are. Brayden is hurt that the person he feels he can trust the most is the person that's not speaking to him right now. Yeah. Like, what Brayden goes through here is what we call post-nut clarity. Like, after you nut, everything comes into focus, even stuff you don't want to come into focus. And that's what happened with Brayden here. After he got off, it came to focus. Like, I gotta find out why my brother is still mad at me. Like, why he doesn't want to talk to me right now. Like, Brayden is hurt that him and Tariq's relationship is not what it should be. And I think it had nothing like, I think she was the distraction. She's his distraction from Tariq right now.
Yeah.
And when it's done for, he's right back to focusing on, man, my brother hates me, and I don't know how to fix it. Because I think he said in the scene when he said, I thought we would be good by now, and we're still not. Like, Kiki clearly looks like why the hell are you talking about this nigga? And we just in this boat don't make it. But I mean, hasn't everyone had this feeling before? When you using sex as a distraction to something in your life, and right after you finish, that what you attempted to distract yourself from pops right back in your head.
Sir, well, I don't know if it was snowfall or this, but we just talk about I can't even talk tonight. The post clarity nut.
Yes.
And of course, they didn't depict it in this way, but that's what happened. I was trying to lead you into it that like Brayden realized that, for sure. But yeah, but whatever Brayden was trying to run away from clearly comes right back here. But what's interesting is Kiki's response, because Kiki does a couple of different things that started to lead me to think like, okay, what's really up with her? We already know about her and the cell phone thing with Brayden. We already know that she's had eyes and suspicion of him the entire time. And she started to say, oh, your brother or your business partner. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Then she says, I know y'all dealing drugs out of Western Holding. And I mean, she's just piling it on, and waiting. And Brayden's trying to swerve left and right, trying to avoid it till he eventually have to come clean. And she says, I'm impressed. You know, even make a truce of saying, like, I'm not going to say anything. I think it's genius what you did. You know, talk about Crash Coin. But at the same time, too, she then says, listen, I don't even know why, when you're like the brains and the genius of this, that you over here crying about Tariq St. Patrick. First of all, the whole name thing definitely threw me off. Because I'm like, okay, the reason why, and like, y'all can sound reaching, even, and again, this is in my notes, even before we even get to the end of the episode. The moment she dropped this whole name tells me there is some type of business mindset that she has here. She's eyeing in on opportunity or some type of exploiting of what he does. Because
that's what I thought it would be. More exploiting what Brayden did. And that's why, to me, she was feeding him you the brains. Why are you worrying about him? We all know how women can. We all know how certain women can be. I had to really correct myself there. We all know how certain women can be in trying to separate, people. Like, and that's what it came across to me. Is like, oh, she's trying to separate because she's trying to get into Tariq's spot, or which she perceives to be Tariq's spot, with Brayden, by saying you're the brains of the operation. No woman tells you you're the brains of the operation because she actually believes you're smart. She tells you that because she's trying to manipulate you. We all understand that. Yeah. And Kiki's no different here.
Yeah. Anyway, Kane, Texas said emergency meeting. So Monet's at the stash spot, which I was not expecting here. Also, I'm still a little bit. I don't know why we're not seeing enough Noma. That's what I'm worried.
I think because Noma's the huge big bad. You don't need to see her. She has minions that she can send to do her work.
Every season of Power, the big bads always showed face. All of them.
But how often, like, did Jason show face?
Well, a lot.
No, they had to meet with Jason every week. That's a horrible example.
Yeah, and Milan, a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
But keep in mind though, those were people that had to deal directly with Ghost and Tommy. Here, Noma has a henchman that we see often. Noma's like, I am the big bad. You don't need to see me every week.
I would have reworked this. I would not have had her make the introduction at the penthouse and let him have did it and said, you're going to answer back to my boss, and then have him serve them up to her like once or twice.
I like the point that she did though. And I like the point we're not seeing her a lot because it leaves this air of mystery about her business.
I hope so.
Because her saying, I have multiple businesses. Look, you're just one cog in my business. You're not the full anything in my business. Well, Mulan and Jason, Ghost and Tommy were the key cog in his business. That's not the case with Noma.
Yeah.
So maybe Noma's like, man, I'm overseas. An overseas huge big bad threat. We called this Ghost Protocol a couple episodes ago. If this ain't a Mission Impossible move to have this huge big bad that you don't see, but you see the henchmen always coming out, it's literally action storytelling and writing to its core. that you don't see the huge threat, but everyone brings Noma's name up, so you don't have to see her.
Yeah, I mean, it gives me Fast and Furious, like
Charlize Theron's character.
Yeah, Cypher gives me. Yeah, that's what it gives me. Who eventually becomes a good guy. Oh,
No, she
Fast and
doesn't.
Furious.
She's a horrible.
I think she's a
Not
good.
in
I think
nine. She's still a bad guy.
I think she's going to be
She
a
tries to
good guy
kill,
in the next
There's
film.
there's no way in hell.
Yeah,
She literally just tried to kill Dom and his white brother because we don't know what Dom's race is.
Listen, can I reintroduce you to a character named Deckard Shaw? Jason Statham.
No.
Yeah,
You can't flip that again. You can't do that again. You can't.
Yes, you can. Because it's Fast and Furious, baby. You can do it. I can't wait for that movie to come out. I'm giving that movie the best rating ever. I don't even care. I'm gonna lose all my credibility after that. It's gonna be the best movie of the year.
But I don't think that's the route they're going with Noma.
If Noma flips, I will flip every bit of equipment I got in my vicinity. She becomes a good guy. If Noma, you know what? The way how people will be predicting, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody says Noma's going to be a professor next year. Just wait. She's gonna be teaching a lecture class next year. Just wait.
With Noma with Tate.
Yep, exactly.
As Tate comes back to teach.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna all seriousness, I'm going to allow this character to really come full circle because the introduction was amazing, and I thought we would get more of a threat. And honestly, this show isn't built to be done like The Walking Dead or something where main characters can be killed off every other episode or whatnot.
Yeah.
But the way how they introduced her, I damn sure thought, I was like, oh, there's gonna be a lot of random casualties. It's gonna be somebody like Kane, somebody who we love to hate, but like if you want to establish her as the big new threat, somebody gotta, but
I got you here. I just thought about it. Noma's maybe she's not a season threat. Meaning we look like we're hinting towards a storyline where we get this big action set piece with them trying to stop Noma. What happens if this character goes on for a couple of seasons?
Or I was just thinking, what if this character actually jumps between this and Force?
Hey, she clearly moving the weight to do that. Like again, it's so much stuff here.
The international connect.
Maybe this character is meant to bridge the two franchises together.
I would say this too. Last thing I'll say, and we'll move on. That these shows have have no issues with either casting of folks by city of where they're filming or international talent out of the UK.
Yeah.
Which a lot of folks didn't realize that a lot of characters were from the UK. Which
clearly they did not.
Carrie Milgram's from the UK. And what's her name? Also from Ghost is also, from Force is also from the UK. What if they did establish another show in the UK? Which I gotta say, the UK nightlife is parallel to New York.
But Dempsey's free now, so
wow. Why do you think he would pick up another show?
What else does he have to do?
I think movies is in his future for a little run.
Did you see that joint on Netflix? No one's knocking down Dempsey's door to do movies.
What on Netflix?
Denzel didn't even know who he was. We're not knocking down Dempsey's door to do movies.
Stop.
But Dempsey's a great television actor.
You think Damson to Power is the move? Because if you're gonna say it, you need to embrace it. Because people gonna eat it up.
Yes.
Okay.
What happened if we get something where Noma's not the big boss and he is?
Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
I'm just
throwing
an idea out there.
They could have been waiting it out. Okay, I'll leave it be. Y'all, if y'all feeling Damson, I can't even talk. Mr. Franklin himself, you thinking that Damson Idris future is in the Power universe? Let us know right now. Hit the
Everybody's
thumbs up.
future's in the Power universe. There's no telling where the Power universe is going to go.
You BET Plus. Wait, 50 talking.
So disrespectful.
Who
50's
knows?
disrespectful.
Who knows? So Monet at the stash spot, and the first thing is saying, man, listen, which is a big thing here. No, Noma chick ain't no joke. Why didn't I know about the Jamaican Avenue boys? Why am I just hearing about the Russian thing? I need an idea. I need a plan. Looks at Brayden, says, do not ask Taylor Swift. Do not look at Taylor Swift. He clearly won't have a plan. Funny. He gets a new name every week. But here's a very interesting thing. I don't want to spend too much time because we're running up on our time quick tonight. Kane, Mr. Always Got Ideas. So she says, you always got a list of ideas. What's up? And Kane says, well, if you're the boss, why don't you tell us what you want us to do? This is interesting here.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kane, who has tried to establish himself as the leader of the family, has just pleaded the fifth to his position. He just definitely said, no, not me. You're the boss. And I don't think he was being sarcastic. That's my thought. But what did you think about him saying, oh, no, you do it?
He hit Monet with a get somebody else to do it. She know what to do. Like, she didn't know what to do. But this is him playing that card of saying, did you tell me Drew was a lead? What you looking at me for? You the boss. Yeah. You running things. What are we to do since you're running things? This is him playing that card to Monet like, if you want to be the boss, you got to start acting like one. Yep. Don't come to me for ideas, because if I give you ideas, I should be running things. So now come up with a plan for us to get out this situation.
Yep.
This is. I think it is a bit of sarcasm there, but it's a bit of anger there.
Ooh, okay.
And keep in mind, he still doesn't trust Monet. We got to keep that in mind. I think Kane still believes Monet had something to do with Lorenzo's death.
Yeah, I mean, he's no fool. He's the only person that has basically all the tools to make the decision here.
Yeah.
Without being said, I don't think it needs to be said. I think we need to. I think we finally need to have a moment where we know that Kane may be the smartest person in the room. He has all of the different clues, and I don't think it's necessarily because I play this game all the time. You know, to play dumb to know it. You know, and I would love to see Kane be that person to just, you know, just sit here
and grown on everybody. Kane is growing on everybody this season.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the
truth?
Truth?
Man, I would have never the change that they're showing with this character is amazing.
Yeah,
because we went from thinking Kane was the dumbest person in the world, always making horrible decisions, hothead, to him like focusing in and being the best character on this show so far this season.
Yeah. Even playing tuitions, man. You know,
enough. He out this on saving lives, man.
Yeah,
saving Effie life.
Enough listening to Future, and then you know, things like this start happening. So
no, he's still listening to Future. It's just the joke with him, Tim's, and Drake. That I will care for you. Came up that joke, blasting that joke, and taking care of everybody all of a sudden.
So Monet instantly yells out for Drew because that's what she does. But at the same time, too, she says, listen, we off the street too long, then the Russians, they're going to claim our spots as their own.
Yeah, theirs.
So which is a smart little, you know, development in the plot for this episode. But anyway, she looks at Tariq and says, man, what's wrong with him? Tariq, what's up? And says, you know what? I need to talk to Tariq on my own, which obviously she needs to have some one-on-one time with her son. She hasn't had a lot with him in a minute, so it makes sense.
Her surrogate firstborn.
Yeah, so everybody clear the room so Monet and Tariq can have their moment. And you know, you already know what Drew's what Kane said at this point. But anyway, she said, "Oh, by the way, Brayden." I guess Brayden got a pseudo invite to the cookout.
Hey,
nigga too.
Hey, when she said, "All you niggas get out," he said, "You're a nigga too." He said, "Oh man," like he felt privileged.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, good for you. Don't say it though, Brayden. You don't get to say it.
Nah, you get
you can be called it.
Brakes beat off you. Exactly.
Yeah. Cancel that.
I call my fellow Caucasian brothers that all the time. Normally with white in front of it, then I use the word.
Yeah, cancel that whole little podcast I got going on here. You out here getting too comfortable here. I'm just playing.
Michael Richards. out this joint. He's a nigger. That's it. It's over.
But Tariq explains that, listen, man, they went behind my back and killed Lauren. And he says, Monet says, oh yeah, that's fucked up. But you ain't over here crying over a wire, bitch, are you? And said, listen, I'm hot as fuck, basically, because he can't go nowhere. All eyes are on him because they think he's the one responsible of it. And then Monet says, listen, you're not dumb. And you ain't got shit to worry about here. Trying to boost his ego, but rightfully so, because Tariq does always have some form of a plan. We wouldn't have this show if Tariq didn't have a plan. That's one thing for sure. But she said, you are my thinker, so think. That is truly a mom to son statement right there. Because everybody done got that. You done got your education, so educate. Or whatever you want to remix it, you know. Parents, they gonna do it, you know. But then, you know, Tariq comes up with the plan.
Come up with something. Yep, all of that.
Yep. But he comes out with the plan with ceasing the Russians' shipment, and you know, that gets them off the street. They don't got nothing to move. Then what can they do? That puts them in a hole. And then Monet basically says, as they dap each other, because I don't know why she's scared to hug her son. I'm glad you decided to stop acting like a bitch. She said, that's the plan. I'm glad you started acting like a bitch. Anyway, Sax and Davis, they're inside the jail. Davis now asks about new information about the Lauren Baldwin death case, whatever, because he says, well, Tariq seems to think that there's more, but obviously Davis is in the dark. I'm going to come back to that in 1 second. But anyway, I think we can now conclusively decide and confirm that there has been a recasting here of Theo. But anyway, so Redman, his old character in Theo now is in their interrogation, or what is that? Just holding room for the meeting with the lawyers, and they're just practicing for their case, and it just went bad. Davis obviously is bothered by this, and he definitely thinks that his brother's going to die in jail. But Sat says he thinks it's going to be another way. So they're just practicing a little mock trial in terms of when he gets cross-examined.
Just getting your reactions. That's highly important when you go through these proceedings. I need to see how you're going to react before you have to step in front of people and react, because then I know what's going to happen to you.
Yeah. What's interesting here is Sax's line, obviously, but Davis is very much focused on his brother, which I love this, because that's what this character's focus has been now for the 3 seasons, is getting his brothers out, and now he's very close to the finish line. This is where all of his attention should be, but I do still think that there's a level of him that still is mildly tipped to what Sax is up to, which I am predicting episode 8, by the information that Tariq has obtained, is going to be like, I knew something was up. I know.
You already know how David's going to play it. He's not going to play it, obviously.
Absolutely
put out a little shit there to get it out.
Absolutely not.
I can't wait. We're going to get there soon. I know we're coming up on. We're going to get there soon. This is going to be an extra long episode today, but we're going to get there soon about the stuff with Davis and his brother, because that, to me, is the other important conversation to have of what that meant. And that shit was so deep. For anybody who's been in that situation, you'll understand why.
Yeah. So Drew and the thank you for the enunciation, folks, last week. They says, oh, I love what you do, Nigeria, but you ain't pronouncing the name right. Castillos. We good? All right, bet. So Drew and the Castillos. I don't know what I was saying. Was I saying the Castillos? I don't know. I thought I was saying the Castillos. I don't know.
Who is it? Who am I to correct someone on name pronunciation? That's just not gonna happen.
That's okay. You can retire, Veronique. The show is over now. So.
Man, and Ex Marina or whatever the fuck that name.
Sia Maria. Got you. Got you. But anyway, at the end of the day, they want a bigger cut, and Gordo is going to have to choose his family over Drew. Drew is there to get intel in terms of when that Russian shipment is going to happen, and conflict within the family. That's all it is. And we'll nothing really making this until later on. Jenny is Sats, and Jenny wants to know about how the little mock trial thing went with Theo. Obviously didn't go bad. But Saxe is immediately working on his plan for Davis and saying, like, listen, I need you to swap somebody on the parole panel who would take a bribe. And I need to stay in good graces with Davis because this is how we're going to get the information that we need. He also then says, oh, that's right, I forgot. He has those Whitman files at his desk. I haven't had a chance to review them, but they're there. I guess that Jenny's kind of like, okay, well, I guess you got something, and therefore, okay, fine. Let's keep doing what we do. But at the end of the day, we see Saxe in the light we have not seen Saxe outside of it being somebody related to the St. Patrick's. He is completely pissed because somebody has finally lied to him, because Saxe lies to everybody. But somebody's lied to him. And this is, I tell you, man, if this ain't the ultimate portrayal to a habitual liar, when they finally get lied to and they act like it's time to scorch earth, because Saxe is not having it from Jenny. Jenny has apologized, I think, twice now. But he says, listen, you lied to me again, I'm going to burn you. And I was like, all right, wait a minute now, because y'all still hooking up. So let's get a better set of words here. But okay. But he says, I'm gonna expose you for everything. And then they start to. Then the last thing they want to know about is, do you think there's somebody in the DA office who might have tipped off Tariq? And they said, do you think it was Lauren? They said, absolutely not. There's a lot of little things to talk about here, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to throw it to you. Sass being frustrated that his hands are dirty while Jenny's are clean, and also pissed that she lied to him. Also reveals about, Davis having the Whitman files at his thing. And then they want to know about how Tariq is getting this information. What did you think, if anything, what did you think about this scene?
The two most important things. One, Saxe, hurt people. That's all that is about. He is so far in his feelings, he don't know what to do with himself at this point. And it's kind of weird to see Saxe in this place because we have not seen him in this place since the end of the original series. When he was talking to Tamika, and it was the exact same thing. He was so far in his feelings, he didn't know what to do. But the second thing is entrapment. Jenny brings that up. That's the most important thing because most people don't know what entrapment is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is entrapment. You put something in place illegal for it to happen, and you set someone up to do any legal action, even though what you're doing while setting them up is illegal. That is entrapment, meaning at the end, if any of this came out, you couldn't get Davis for anything because this is entrapment. That's what Jenny's fear was for Saxe saying we need to get somebody that can be bribed. But this also shows the danger in working with Cooper is that this dude does not think beyond what he feels is the end of a case, because no person in their right mind would do anything that can come close to entrapment against someone, because they understand when judges rule on stuff like that, they're going to err on the side of caution and they will throw everything out. So those are the only important things. Other than that, it was just a bunch of hurt feelings from Saxe. He's still mad at Jenny. And Jenny has had all the cards, and he finally had this opportunity to take the cards away from her. And this was his opportunity to do such. But I pay way more attention to her being concerned that this was entrapment, which I know the legal definition of entrapment. This is definitely entrapment, and it would not hold weight if they ever go to court for it, because Saxe said, find someone who can take a bribe. The moment you say that, it is over at that point, because you have to do an illegal action to catch someone else doing an illegal action. That's the definition of entrapment, people.
Yeah. All right, so Tariq and Tate, they meet at the park. Tate wanted to know is Tariq being followed, but at the end of the day, Tariq provides some information that's going to help Tate, but also help him. He says, hey, there's going to be a drug shipment coming in from the Russians. Call up your old NYPD friends, which he should have just mentioned your brother, but unless his brother's not there no more, and take credit for the bus. This will help you get back on the poles. And that's just that, for that scene. Tariq calls Davis and wants to know if he found anything about the investigation. And then he says, listen, either Saxe is lying or he doesn't know, which we know we get the answer to that later on in the episode here. Monet and this wild nigga Kai out here whining and chilling. I don't know, man. Listen, I'm going to give it to you in a second, because I was like, what the? Okay. I'll tell you in a second. But anyway, he kind of shooting his shot as always. Drew walk in pissed, as he should, as he was before, and as he should.
Yep.
And as Monet walks Kai to the door, says, "I'm sorry about my son's mouth tonight. I'll see you soon." Gives her a kiss on the cheek. Then Drew goes off and says, "Man, Daddy ain't even, or Poppy ain't even cold in the body, not even cold in the ground. Yeah, you out here wine and cheese chilling." And then says,
this nigga, like, you out here breaking out charcuterie boards for this nigga. Like, how dare you?
But then she turns around and just talks about how Gordo was up with her and Gordo. Says, "I can tell you whipped," and basically just says like, you gotta keep him in line. And just because he's not on the same page with his family, just because he's on the same page with you, doesn't mean he's on the same page with his family. So you just gotta keep him under control essentially, because you have him whipped. Let's just quickly saying, what did you think about Monet and this interaction with Kai? Did you think that she might have been interested? Did you think it was a plan? What were some of your thoughts?
Pain falls for every woman who does this to him. We already seen him fall for Ronnie like this 16 years ago in Menace to Society. Now all of a sudden Monet has his heart. I don't get what's going on with this. For people that don't understand, that was a Menace to Society reference, because that is came from Menace to Society. I kept on telling him I will not tell him nothing else but came from Menace to Society. And Ronnie is Jada Pinkett Smith. So he's up here falling for the same tricks he fell for before when she had him trying to raise a nigga that wasn't his. Here it's just a correlation. This dude has been playing the background for so long and wanted Monet, and Monet understands that. But I think this is the key part of Monet putting her plan together for her to flip who's responsible for Lorenzo's death. And she understood, I have to use him because everyone knows he's been waiting to get with me. So you think he would kill Lorenzo to get with Monet? It's a possibility. So she uses that to her advantage here. Because other than that, why meet with him?
Yeah.
She already left the stash house. Business would be fine without him. They don't need him for that. But she needs him because it provides a person that the kids can blame for Lorenzo's death. This was just the beginning of the setup. And we see the anger from Drew immediately. She needs Drew to feel that way because the more he gets angry, he's completely clouded by everything. So he's going to believe whatever Monet says.
Yeah, at this point I was kind of like, wait, what's happening? I was like, there's no way she could be actually interested. My suspicion and tendencies were definitely high at this point, but what a plan she put into place. And let me say this too, like she put a plan into place, and why it seems like a overly good and successful thing. Oh no, I think the ghost of Lorenzo stole Christmas will absolutely play dividends at some point. But we'll see.
Look here,
so Brushandria
come back to wreck Monet's plans. It'll be hilarious.
Yep. It's gonna be a moment where Lorenzo is going to be standing next to. It's gonna be like like on Star Wars where you had Ben Kenobi,
all the Jedi standing next to Rey.
Yep. It's gonna be.
She was fighting.
Yeah, it's gonna be Lorenzo. It's gonna be Mecca and Zeke all in one little thing. Just shaming her for all the decisions she's made about this line.
Shit off. If they do that,
I will subscribe to Stars. Period. I get Stars with my cable folks. Don't get twisted. And obviously, we get Stars to do some Stars things. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
We will give Stars that $5 for
absolutely
6 months. Or whatever that deal is. They come out every time Power BMF drop.
Yep. If they do that, I would lose my mind. I buy the Funko Pops if they did that. The three ghosts of Monet's Christmas just waiting there for her.
Not Lorenzo coming out like Yoda told. Defensive you are.
Brushandria is at this party. Look like a little karaoke party or something, but she up there performing because why not? Well, she also really can perform, but these shows always got to do the little voiceover thing. But I would have been okay with them giving her just a live performance here. Let her do what she do. She's an artist, so why not? Even though she did perform it, but it should have just been live. She could have dealt it. Whatever. I don't know how they work the production stuff, but yeah. So anyway, while Brushandria is looking like a snack at the party, you can even probably even give Becca looking like something. But I got a question.
Not with those fake movements.
Well, but I got a question. What the hell is Diana? Why is Diana in the most school spirited shirt I've ever seen? Like,
oh, no, she's in her work shirt. That was her work shirt. So Diana came after work to come and watch the performance. I was more focused on the point where she said, for all my big booty black women in the audience, it was one other black girl there. It's a bunch of white people there.
Shout out there. Yeah.
You performing at Sandsfield, ma'am. Like, nah. They may listen to Meg, but none of them white girls got that ass back there like that. Because Becca was clearly bopping on the downbeat.
You done missed the whole scope here. You know how, you see, here's the thing. You saw how Brayden got his pass earlier. This is Becca getting her pass. This is it. This is now Becca thinks she, okay.
But she bopping on the downbeat. You can't bop on the downbeat and then get a pass. It was the whitest bop in the world.
It's all good.
Becca was struggling.
Listen, by way of light skin Keisha's Instagram post this week, she said, if you know where I'm getting at here, all I'm gonna say is, Becca, go ahead and get that BBL, girl. Ain't nobody gonna shame you. And actually, Brashandra co-signed it for you. So go get that BBL.
Hey, we applaud all women with BBL. It's your fat. Move it to where you need to. There's nothing wrong with it. You worked hard. You earned that fat.
Yeah.
And move it to your butt. It's perfectly fine.
And
we don't women body shame here.
Not at all. Stay in Columbia for as long as you need for the recovery. Just be safe out here, because shit happens. But
oh, we gotta get to my guy Saleem up this joke doing this.
Saleem. So Saleem gets up there. So we get a R&B rap performance, whatever she was singing, to Saleem getting up there to do the spoken word, and even the host was like, "Hey, brother, you sure you're gonna go through with this?" I go all the way through, and I'm like, "Oh man!" At this moment I was like, "Oh, here we go." But anyway, he does this whole poem thing, dedicates it to Diana. Diana was not having it. She goes into the closet. She comes in there, and I have to say, and let me be clear, because I don't want to be labeled as a hotep here, but I have to say, because y'all probably because y'all know how Saleem has been in these episodes, and as I am very much pro protect black women, I gotta say that Saleem came off very aggressive off break, and it was definitely alarming the way how he postured up against Diana, because he definitely said, "I expected you to respect me for what I did up there for you." What the fuck does that mean, bro?
Sounds just like a nigga from Silver Spring. Like, just like a nigga from Silver Spring. Yeah. Should have known there. Like, you sound just like a nigga from Mo County. I expected you to respect me for what I did. What? My God. Come on, man. No one asked you to get on that stage and perform that whack ass poem.
Yeah,
like, no one asked for that.
Yeah.
This was not Def Poetry Jam. This was not the time for that at all. And then to say her name at the end, you are embarrassing, sir. We are not doing this with you here. It made no sense. And then he had a little rose at the end. I felt bad for him until they started talking in that closet. Then I was like, oh, no, my guy, you deserve everything you got.
Mm-hmm.
Because the air of arrogance, amazingly a privilege that came over him at this moment. I think this is foreshadowing to show you this was closer to the real him than we've seen in this entire series.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. And I ain't about to give him a pass, but I'm gonna say, by him not living in his own truth, he gonna have all types of internal conflicts like this, where he, his misconduct. Because I think there's a moment of him where he wants to be respected and accepted, but also at the same time too, it's hard for you to actually gain that when you're not even respecting yourself or your background and a whole bunch of other little things there. But anyway,
he's expecting Diana to respect what he did. He's not respecting his own life by not living his truth. Go ahead, Saleem, get your vanilla queen. Like, She's right there for the wait. You see her dance on the downbeat. She's right there waiting for you.
So you saying Becca and Saleem getting loaded up right now?
That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need. Dr. Umar got 2 white women. Like, why can't he have one?
Yeah,
That's
they actually got a lot in common too, so it kind of could work.
They fit.
Yeah.
That's the perfect match.
Yeah, but anyway, he says, I wanted to help you. I should have known better. Does all this slander on her, talking about you're fucking Tariq, but then she smacks him and threatened her and said, clean your shit out, you're done. You know, just all this bitch ass shit, fuck boy shit. That's what it's that's where he's at this point. Tariq and Effie. Tariq comes in and says, I need that photo so I can get us under Noma. Then Effie says, well, let me back in the business. And the both of them agree that they can't trust each other. And then Tariq says, you didn't need to kill her. You're so fucking weak. And then I will say, this is completely disrespectful here. While Tariq says, Effie, you're so fucking damaged. I don't know why I fucked with you in the first place. This is absolutely another example of hurt people. Because while I do think that her saying to him that you're so fucking weak, which is, you know, hurtful.
True.
But saying you're so fucking damaged is bad, bro. Because that's personal right there. You're like, that's a calculated statement right there. I don't think Effie deserved that. And I think I'm glad to see that Effie was able to shake that off. But I was expecting that to be like detrimental towards Effie's psychology. Because
Tariq's a fuckboy. We already knew that, though.
Oh yeah, he gets it too. He gets it too here. Yeah, he gets it too. Damn, the counters are getting up on this episode, man.
Hey man, we protecting black women, dude. We protecting black women this week. Yeah, always. I'm not not this week. Always. Effie was 100% right.
Yeah,
Lauren should have died.
Yeah.
Here's the weird part. He's still mad at Effie for what she did, but still acknowledges that Monet. What did Monet say? You crying over that wire, bitch? Yeah. He said nothing to her. When Kane said, oh, you found out they killed your bitch, he said nothing to him. He's mad because of what Effie did. But what Effie did, I think deep down, Tariq knows was the right call. And that's what hurts him more than anything, because he wasn't man enough to do it himself.
Yeah. All right. So what else we got here? Brayden calling the people at Cash Coin about the server still being down. Brayden also, at the time of him troubleshooting on the IT ticket on the phone, decides to drop that call because it was very important, obviously, to sneak out the door to notice that there is something else happening in Weston Holdings, where he finds a secret room and a warehouse with a book filled with addresses and contacts, which I, at this moment, had a bunch of different theories, but it doesn't matter because we'll just wait and talk about it in a second. Effie on the rooftop. Effie immediately sees the camera and walks away and texts Kane about it ASAP. Yeah, that's what you do when you see something not right. I am very intrigued.
And you notice who she didn't text?
Diana.
Because she was fucking Tariq.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Didn't text either one of them two. She let Kane know there's a camera in the room.
Yeah, you're right.
She understood that Diana was still using that box.
Yep. So Tariq and Tate, as he checks in about the bus is going down. Things are looking good. The Russians are pissed about it. And the bus is successful. Tate gives his little press news conference about his bus, and he gets his approval rate going up because of it. Jenny and Blanca, and first of all, this is the Rico crew, but also this is the Hayden crew right now, because they are completely mad that we got to win for the home team and take care. Just quickly, your thoughts about the three of them all hanging out. And this is Detective Young, who we've seen a little bit. I have not been able to confirm. And the reason why I haven't even looked into this is because the theories attached to it has been so wild that I've been kind of wanting to wait and let it play out. But they're saying this is Angela Valdez's nephew, and I believe that.
Yeah, somebody said that earlier, and I said, "Wait, really?"
So two things here.
How old was Angela?
Right, he's Detective Young, and the same actors can play in different an actor can play in like different characters if they're like supporting actors. It's been plenty of times where this has happened, and it's a different series, in fact, as well too. But if there is something to make of it, I will let it play out. I don't even want to even go down the rabbit hole in that. But for you, just to kind of focus on this for a second, they're hating. They're trying to figure out how all the connects, all the how everything's connected. However, the theories that they're throwing out this time seem to all be accurate, which is a change because usually just throwing paint at the wall and trying to hope something work. And they ultimately gets back to Tariq is moving weight somewhere. They also think it's happening at Weston's Holdings. They need to figure it out. But they say, hey, they got clients, but the clients won't be as careful as they are. But yeah, for you overall, what is your thoughts about them trying to like connect all of this and them hating on Tate?
Them connecting these that so easily threw me off a little bit. But this is just because of their hatred for Tariq. Like in the end, that's what it's all about here. They're trying to prove this Rico at all costs. And I think when they're trying to do that, even if the pieces don't fit together, they were going to make them fit together. Yeah. And Tate is just part of that piece. They don't like Tate. Why they don't like Tate, no one actually knows because Tate literally is a former police officer. So you would assume they wouldn't have a problem with Tate here. But I think it just goes back to the point that they just don't like Tariq. And everything they can pinpoint back to Tariq, they're going to put together. Now, Detective Young being Angela's nephew, again, as you said, I haven't researched it. I don't care enough to. Because it even if he was, it wouldn't be a big thing because that's not Power's standpoint to make that a big thing. And that would be Angela's nephew. It wouldn't make sense. Or if you did that, then Tariq would just kill him immediately.
Yeah.
Because he would understand the threat that he would be. But here's just them attempting to blame everything humanly possible on Tariq. And they don't believe in Tate. That's all I thought here was, oh yeah, they just don't believe Tate, no matter what. This is like the National Haters Ball in the Dave Chappelle show where all them niggas get together and hate on somebody. That's all they're doing here is hating on Tariq.
Yeah. So we'll see. Detective Angel Jr. Young, as they said, is related to Angela Valdez, and we'll see if it actually is something. Both,
is that her sister's last name? Is that how they put that together?
I don't know. Again, I didn't go down the rabbit hole because I just feel like it's just something I could just wait to find out. We acknowledging who he is. We're seeing his role significantly increase. He's being brought into the Rico team. He also got an ear on some very important information, as Jenny reveals something that, Oh, right. I see what you're saying, Pat. So I'm reading this article. It says, Paz blamed Ghost for killing her sister. For getting her sister killed and vowed to seek revenge on him in Angela's name. I don't know. Oh, we last seen Junior Power when he and Paz was Ghost is actually murdered, and it's Ghost. Paz then left her money and tells Junior that he can finally go back to school. Oh, okay. So there you go. Yeah. So Paz's son. So he goes in law for it. Okay, cool. I mean, it's a cool Easter egg, but we'll see if it has anything to do with it. I don't know why people didn't say it's Paul's son instead of saying Angela's nephew. Like Paul's wasn't the main character for the last 2 seasons of Power, so whatever.
But I mean, I could care less about that. It would just lead to Tariq killing them. In the end, that's all it would lead to is Tariq killing them.
Yeah. So Effie and Kane, and this is all about Effie trying to figure out how much product she's gonna get. This she needs more for her tuition. Kane says, this is all he can do right now. But at the end of the day, Kane volunteers to give her money for her tuition. She says, "Listen, seriously, I'm not gonna be a charity case. I'll figure it out." But we just get to see Kane in a sincere way, really trying to help her. Classroom scene, because we get that every episode here, and they're talking about the mutual benefit of a deal, the mutual benefit meaning of a deal, and if a deal's ever fair because it is. And Saleem then reveals, he's okay. This whole scene, because we ain't gonna spend no time on this, is everybody throwing shots at everybody that they're personally connected to, and they're they're revolving their response to this question based on what's happening in their life. So Saleem comes in talking about his single mom taught him da 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 da, and he really goes a little bit uncharacteristic as everybody says, "Oh, that ain't truly how you respond." Effie takes a shot at Tariq. Tariq has nothing to say. And Diana has her statement to say. So there's that. So everybody's throwing shade. That's what it is. I mean, listen, every recap review, we don't spend no time on this. Either do y'all in the comments. Yeah, I heard a few people say they're kind of tired of these scenes, but whatever. But
how are you tired of some of the best scenes?
I don't know.
Written on the show, man. This week is different. It was just a bunch of taking shots at everybody, but
yeah,
this is the deepest part of the episodes.
Yeah. So Diana, and as she had got calls earlier from Monet, but she has not been answering them. So Diana answers, say, "Hey, mom, and Monet is like, why haven't you been taking my calls?" First of all, Monet's been trying to get everybody to have dinner with her. Drew said nah. Diana didn't answer earlier when she was at the party, and then now she's kind of saying like, "What's good?" It says, and Diana opens up about her college troubles and struggles, which everybody freshman year can relate to what Diana's going through right now in terms of adapting and finding her placement and all the bits of different issues and what like that. But Monet says, ain't nobody gonna do nothing to my baby. So now she becomes available for her daughter that she didn't know she had until an hour ago. See what happens when you don't have dinner with nobody? Yeah, it's wild.
Her baby?
Yeah, she talks about the trouble. She talks about the trouble she has with a guy, which is Saleem. And then she said, "No one's fault for my baby. Who is he? I'll come up there, put him in line, all the other stuff." She says, "I can handle him. I'm just like you, right?" And Diana, obviously decides to, take matters into her own hands here by way of her acknowledging that she is
what the fuck happened between.
We missed the whole episode. Yeah, we missed something.
We missed something. Was Monet's response. Monet been shitting on Diana for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, nobody messes with my baby? Nigga, you've been messing with your baby this entire season. What did we miss here? That all of a sudden you are sticking up for that. We will not be tricked. We will not be hoodwinked. We will not be bamboozled. We've already been through this with Saleem. We know you don't love Diana. You've shown multiple times you don't love Diana. This was the funniest scene in the world to me when she said that. What the fuck?
So my thoughts is this all part of her scheme here? Is this all the greater scheme of Monet? Because let's just call it what it is. Ghost had no problem with letting Tariq take the fall for him. Could Monet have been planting a seed to let Diana be the one to take the fall for her in some extent? I mean, her buttering up.
I think this is just her pulling them closer because she doesn't need anyone to doubt how Lorenzo died. So she's trying to pull everybody close at this point. We ain't seen Monet cook since Lorenzo told her to go back and get that chicken.
She didn't even really cook because everybody else said they cooked something. Don't give her that credit.
So since that moment, we ain't seen her do nothing. Now this episode, she cooking whack ass cornbread and greens. It's not
Diana cooked that, and Drew cooked it. Yeah, Monet ain't do shit, but have a stale face at the end of the table, looking more obvious than that than none.
Exactly, but I think this is just her playing the part. She needs to be the caring parent here because Lorenzo is gone, so she has to embrace Diana more.
Yeah,
because I don't need what Ghost Dad said to become true, which is they're gonna find out and they're gonna hate you for it. I think that's her fear here.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. Davis and Sachs as Davis. So at this point now, they give Davis a name. Sachs gives Davis the name of the person who's going to help, the dirty person who's going to help with the Theo case. But Davis makes it very clear about the consequences of getting caught by doing what you're doing because you're talking about a government official here. But then Sachs says he needs a lot of cash and fast. Davis says no problem. Sachs looks like, I think, and I'm just going to move on after this. I think Sachs had no clue that Davis was storing that much money at his desk.
Yeah.
Right? That sounds like a good a good theory, right? Okay. Let me tell you what's problematic with this.
Said that.
Yeah, let me tell you what's the problem here. Mr. Snoop around his desk all the time. You didn't know about a burner phone. You didn't know about some protective records. You done found the key. And you didn't know he was storing that much cash there. How could you be surprised here about what he was doing and how he was operating? He was getting this money from Tariq before this season. He's not even collecting this money from Tariq no more. For him to be surprised, I'm like, what?
I love when I used to charge you per phone call. Like, of course Davis has money. This is petty cash though, so you're never gonna get him on anything. He's a lawyer.
Yeah, right.
Of course he has petty cash just laying around.
Right. So Brayden's looking over the books, and Tariq comes in. They're not playing nice. And as he says, this is a special project for his uncle, higher up shit, but you don't have to worry about nothing going on here. Tariq texting Lauren, says, man, I swear you can trust me. Come on, talk to me, call me, whatever he said. But anyway, we get the homeless guy who's looking through the trash, finds the empty void spot at the bottom of their cups from the coffee joint, which happens to be Agent Young in disguise. Sachs delivering the money to this.
There.
What's up?
The empty baggie at the back in the cup. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Nobody who does drugs would take an empty baggie and put it back in the bottom of the cup. That makes absolutely no sense. Once I get the baggie out and I do the coke, I'm kind of done with that at that point. And both are going to trash separately. I'm not going to then say, let me put this back in the bottom of the cup.
Yeah, like it's a pair of shoes coke. Or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just put
exactly. Nigga, that's coke. There's no more coke there. I don't need to save the baggie. It doesn't benefit me in any way, shape, form, or fashion to put it back in the bottom of the cup. I'm just bringing that up because it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, foolishness. You're right there.
Not saying I do drugs. I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Not saying I've been around drugs recently. I've not been around drugs recently. But I just know I've never seen someone get a bag and then place the bag neatly back into wherever they got the bag from. It's like returning the bag to your drug dealer like it's recyclables. Like, come on. What would be the point?
Yeah. So yeah, Sats drops off the money for the person they're going to get to help get Theo out. The whole Diana and Saleem thing, which we talked about in the beginning of this episode, where we find out that Diana has her plan in order to hold Saleem accountable for who he truly is. And as she said, we both got secrets. We both don't want to get out. And this says, like, you know, what if your flunkies knew who the hero and leader truly was, who survived the hood here? Super Hotep, Mr. Trevor Nelson himself from Silver Spring, Maryland, Montgomery County there, and brings out the picture and all this other stuff. But as you mentioned, says we're good, says reduce hours, give me a raise. You got to trust. You don't need to be up in here, bro. Monet, Drew, and Kane, as they walk into Kai's club, but then tell Drew to go watch the car, which was funny here. But you know, he said because you gave Kai a lot of attitude, he doesn't want to see your face. This is Drew. I mean, this is Kane and Monet, and says like, you know, everything depends on you, Kane, which is true because Kane did have to come through in the clutch. Which Kane is kind of clutch for that, you know. So Kane back in the role that he's good at, not being the leader and whatnot, does a sale. But Kane, as we see Kane to start to mature and wisen up around Monet, says, listen, do you go doing that thing where you're always trying to manipulate me to do whatever you want? It ain't going to work this way. I need more this time. And says, she said, I need to start treating you like the man you become. And are you going to help me save the family or not? Monet and Kai on their little date, talking about the partnership. And Monet talks about how she held the business down when Lorenzo was locked up. And says, let's do a partnership. And Kai says, what do I get out of this? And said, okay, cool. Well, you know, you get my mind, you get my business, you get the rest of me. And he gets turned on by that. Gunshots outside. She pulls out the knife to try to kill him. She couldn't, calls her a two-faced bitch. Kane shoots her in the head. she goes and grabs the burner phone, texts Gordo from the phone, which we know by the number. Says, I think the Russians know that. I think they know that the Russians didn't kill Lorenzo. Puts the phone inside his inside of his pockets. The stash. Drew comes in, sees the phone, states that Kai killed Poppy, but they also need to figure out who he was texting. Set up a meeting with this person, and take that fucker out. Effie goes to I forget the name of this office. The
financial aid.
Financial.
Damn, look at you with your privilege. Yeah. Financial aid, sir?
No, I know. No. I know what she's getting is financial aid, but I was like, is that the office that you go to? It is the financial aid office, yeah. So the financial aid office.
We understand. You didn't have to go through this, sir.
You damn right I did. You damn right. Got me in a chokehold. I'm gonna need Uncle Biden to get this shit out of here, because God knows everybody talking about getting it back to their regular life. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, Joseph Robinette Biden. Hey. I ain't got no student loans. I'm good. My family was poor, so
help a brother out, because
I Pell Granted it up. God damn it, I ain't paying for shit.
But Effie's in a position now where there is no loan programs, as they're at full capacity. I've never heard no shit like that, but whatever. And she's thinking that she needs to get. She says, like, listen, I'm gonna get my tuition on time. It's a little bit more time. Then she says, hey, your tuition is paid to the end of this term. She texts Kane and says, fuck you. I told you I didn't need to be your charity at. And Kane says, you're welcome. And she kind of smiles here. Okay.
She didn't kind of smile.
There is that. The Russians and the Tejadas, as they come up with a peace offering over Kane's head, say mutual enemy is dead. So I think we have a truce here. So maybe the war's over. I don't know. We'll see. I definitely was thinking about like the members of folks who were died. And I'm like, no, because
no. Hey, you never know. Gucci and Jeezy made it up.
Yeah,
everything's possible, Joe. We know the bodies are dropped for that. Anything's possible.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, once you're in that business, you can let bygones be bygones, because more bloodshed is bad for business on both sides.
That's true. So Davis and Theo, I know this is an important scene here, but you're a free man as the helicopter pulls up. Theo seems kind of reserved here. And then Theo basically says, like, listen, man, I was not going to, basically do good in the cross or with the interview, which means like cross-examination. He would have been fried rice.
Yeah.
But he says, listen, I went in and took this for you to become something. You obviously did something, Davis, and now your ass could be going to prison, which means if you go in, me going in and my time going in was for nothing. Drop me off at the treatment facility and don't contact me.
Perfect.
Your thoughts?
Perfect freaking scene here, because this entire time Davis has been focused on getting his brother out and willing to do anything to do it, not understanding if you're willing to do anything to get him out and risk your own freedom, you've kind of told him those 20 plus years you spent in jail were for nothing. Like this was a perfect scene on why it was always an issue with Davis getting his brother out, because he was doing it for selfish reasons. You didn't want your brother to be in there because you understood your brother didn't do the crime. But by doing it and putting yourself at risk of going into jail, you're completely disrespecting him and saying those 20 plus years you served for me meant nothing, because in the end, I want you out. But if you want me out that bad and you're willing to do something legal to do it, if you go in, that's just telling me I wasted my life.
Yeah.
Like when he said you were supposed to be the smart one, you're supposed to be the one who made it out. Like that's why I went in here. We understand this. If you grow up in the hood, if you grow in certain environments, and someone does something of this nature for you, the last thing you do is put yourself in a predicament that could put you back behind bars. Yeah. Like that's the last thing you do. You stay as clean as humanly possible because you understand someone gave you a second chance and they didn't have to.
Yeah.
And you can tell the hurt on Theo's face when he says it. Granted, that was a very ugly Versace sweatsuit he had on, nor why would he have on that sweatsuit. But
fresh out of jail, man. You know, fashion's always questionable that
we
first day
saw
out.
we saw Lorenzo fresh out of jail. He had on a Pele suit. It was something. It wasn't no Versace suit. But like this is just we see the anger that Theo has that Davis will put himself in that position.
Yeah.
And I thought this was one of the realest scenes you're going to get from this show.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's not talked about enough of certain people who take the hit for others. And they do it because I believe you have a chance of living a better life. Yeah. But what you ain't going to do is then put that life in jeopardy after what I did.
Yeah.
Because you basically saying, fuck me at that point.
Yeah.
Everything I did didn't matter, and that's why Theo was so mad and said, "Drop me off, and I never want to see you again."
You can draw this up to the biggest scale, but this is the failure to show gratitude. That's all it is, and that can hurt people to the utmost. You never know what folks have to do in order to provide for somebody or to whatever it may be, the favor or the effort or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
and for you to just completely jeopardize that, you know, it's a lot of things you can compare this to. So I firmly agree. It's a completely spot on moment. I'm more intrigued about where Davis goes next from this
because now he has to make an adjustment. But
absolutely.
It's an ongoing theme of this episode is selfishness.
Yeah,
and we see it almost in every storyline of someone being completely selfish and not understanding that them being selfish has ramifications that they don't see.
Yeah. Lauren and Tariq, and they're talking. It says, "Hey, they're moving me out the safe house," which means that, well, they must be moving forward with the case. And Tariq said, "I gotta show you something. I gotta show you in person. It's important. And you know, basically, just give me 5 minutes or so." Gordo and Drew, and they're cuddling. And I'm just gonna sum this up really quickly. Drew kills Gordo because Drew then takes the burner phone to try to further the conversation, the meeting from Kai to who the mysterious person is, just to hear Gordo phone goes off, goes into the shower, shoots Gordo, and came because they're at the penthouse. If anybody want to know what happened, because the gun went off in the penthouse, and Kane runs up and said what happened, consoles his brother. And he says like he killed Poppy, and Kane's like, "I got you." And while before that happened, you know, Drew was happy because Gordo sort of pit him over his family, but also at the same time kind of leveraged the two of it in the situation, but also made it very clear to Drew that he was going to move forward with their relationship and nothing was going to prevent that. So Drew was finally getting what he wanted, just for them to have a heartbreaking moment to happen to kill him, because he picked his dad and his family over his relationship here. And everyone shows up at the penthouse. Drew is hurt. Monet is there. And I'm so sorry, baby. Although Monet did all of this.
Hey,
every bit of this.
I just want to know, why did Drew decide at that moment after post-nut clarity? What made that phone call be the phone call after that? After the person you just got finished culling up, rubbing noses with is in the shower, then you make that phone call? It's an odd time to make that phone call.
I think that after all the fun was done, he said, "Let me handle a little bit of business."
Post-nut clarity.
I don't think it was post-nut clarity here because
what?
Because
I else made the phone call.
I describe post-nut clarity as to like an allusion to what was happening beforehand to reality that was happening afterwards. I think he do likes him in both sides of this.
Oh, see, okay.
I just think he's just was like, all right, well, he's showering. Let me do something productive.
I see post-nut clarity as you're getting back to business after the act is finished and you realizing it's unfinished things I need to attest to.
Yeah, no.
You're one of the things that Drew was like, I want to attest to it. And for some odd reason, like placing that phone instead of being there in bliss, and like he gave up a shower and stuff, and like none of that. Drew was like, "Nah, I only want to draw you naked. I need to make this phone call so I can see what's going on here."
It's what
thing there.
Yeah, personality to me is like when you thought something was
Distracting you
one
from a
thing,
purpose. Oh,
and
see, I see this distracting from a purpose.
yeah, no, it's definitely when you listen. Something that might have been a 10 before is brought back to a
Oh,
reality of a
oh
3.
yeah, no, nigga. Oh yeah, no, nigga. Yeah, that's not. But we from the definition that we used for Brayden earlier, posting clarity was Brayden nothing, and then getting back to business because it was something unfinished,
Yeah, but
and
yeah,
he
okay.
kept on thinking about Tariq.
Yeah, but again, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I do agree with that too, because it is a sense of like you're using it to escape the reality of something.
There you go.
But also because when I'm talking about reality and illusion, so there's an illusion in the beginning of like, I'm not worried about this, I'm not whatever, to like, oh shit, I still need to handle this, do this, what so that's why I don't think Drew's situation posed like clarity, because I don't think this was like a predicament on his lap. Because when he's with his partners, that's all he cares about. He's removed from everything. He's in meeting, texting Gordo. He literally
Except for
is
Poppy
never
dead.
in, except
Poppy
for
dead now.
so I would say if he was cuddling with her and everything was good, and then he came out and he was still kind of grieving afterwards, that would have been different. But this was just him like, oh, I'm still in clout now. Let me just text and see what's happening. Anyway, we definitely got to wrap up soon. So let's get to the last little things here. Kiki and Brayden. As Brayden exposes to Kiki about the books, he thinks everything's a Ponzi scheme. He mentioned exactly what I was going to say. This absolutely feels like Madoff. And if you've seen the documentary recently on Netflix, then there you go. That will explain everything to you there. But we find out that, yes, it in fact is a Ponzi scheme, as Uncle Lucas is all behind us alongside of Kiki. And they set this all up. And they have been very impressed about what Brayden's doing. They absolutely know that Brayden was selling drugs in there since day one. He basically said, keep your mouth shut. This would destroy your family. I thought that was his uncle. He made it very clear they said your family, which means that not only
is our family. He said our family.
I'm pretty sure he said your family.
Well, no. He did say your family, but in the sense of being our family. He didn't say your family like it's just separate you.
See,
meaning we're family.
I heard him say
why would
your
you care
family
about anyone else?
I heard him say your family in the sense of him saying like, I have a way out. Because as he mentioned, my jail is going to be a lot prettier than yours, which means that he already has a contingency plan.
He only has a way out for the jail sentence. But when he said it would destroy your family, I think it was signifying we're family. Fuck Tariq. Why are you worrying about what's going to happen? You know, I really have serious questions here because we literally just got this guy who's supposed to be one of the smartest businessmen in the world, and he invested in a Ponzi scheme. I make it make sense. So no one did their due diligence on this company. No one did their due diligence on this company. Tariq has a trust that's ran by a team of lawyers. No one did their due diligence on what Weston Holdings was because they had two set of books. I would have way more questions about your investments and why this would make sense to do this. This ain't 2008 when Madoff got this shit off. 2023. Know how hard it is to get a Ponzi scheme off? A nigga, unless it's run by Nigerians, you ain't getting it off this easily.
Yeah. But so with all this, Kiki has been a part of this. Yeah, she's been a part of this the entire time, which she has been sort of using Brayden and eyeing in on him and so on. And like I said, you know, drop the act. She's been a part of the creative record keeping. And at the end of the day, Kiki says, like, hey, we don't have to lie to each other no more. We're in this together. And Brayden just said no, because that's that. I said, you've been lying to me the entire time. Fuck you, Kiki. And yeah. So Brayden's hurt now. Because now Brayden feels like Tariq. Everyone lies to you. Now he's feeling it now. So
Kiki likes Sanaa Lathan in Out of Time. She was playing Denzel the whole time.
Yeah. Last things is Tariq pays off this DEA agent maintenance guy with his DEA badge outside, pays him for his badge and his
because of course it's
outfit.
that easy.
Yeah, of course
it's that easy.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have clearances to get that badge just to be a cleaner.
Yeah, it's
he
that
gave
easy.
all that up for just a quick $1,000.
Yeah. But anyway, Tariq watches Lauren and Blanca comes in. Blanca goes to brief Medina, who isn't Agent Medina no more, which means that she's briefing him, which means like he's the top of the DEA.
Yep.
Lauren says, can she have a second to go to the bathroom? Goes there. Tariq is in there. Tariq has a cell phone which plays the recording of Effie and Tariq from the room seen earlier. She says, I believe you, but it's too late. Tells her that the RICO case against him and the Tejadas, and it's all about to happen now. And he says, listen, we got to get our shit together so we can get back our regular lives. She says, I'm going to get you as much time as I can. And then Tariq is like, I'm confused. Like, how did Sax Knight see this coming? Then, well, she says, well, he did. He's working with the feds, which this information clearly is not only just valuable to him, but to Davis but to the Tejadas. And this is going to shake up next week episode, which I cannot wait for. But last scene is the family dinner. Everybody's so happy as Diana is so happy to be back. And we see what it appears to be the DEA and their guns looking ready to bust something down. And it happens to be the Tejada house after all, because I did not think it was. But they come in and they say, Mrs. Tejada, and the camera goes right to Monet. We have a warrant for your arrest for the attempt to distribute and all this other stuff. And they go to Diana, and they get Diana. Diana's arrested, and Monet's like, man. And so listen, 2 episodes ago, Monet would have finished eating, and that would have just been it. Or she would have been like, man, fuck her.
Exactly.
But she says, I'm gonna get you out, baby. Don't worry, And that's it. That is the end of the episode. And that's about to be the end of our super long recap review show here tonight. But we did have a lot here.
Like a snowfall review this episode. What the hell happened here?
Yeah, we're ending this right now. So we do find out that the Weston Holdings is a Ponzi scheme. Kiki and Lucas knew about Brayden selling drugs to Weston Holdings this entire time. Monet setting up this whole framing of Kai and the murder, and also gets a truce with the Russians. Kane kills Kai. Drew kills Gordo because he finds out that he killed Lorenzo, and Sax bribes this parole board member. Theo gets out of jail. The other very important thing is that Blanca and Detective Young, Junior Young, know that Lauren is alive. And we'll see how that plays out next. So, with that being said, this is the end of our recap review show here, episode 707 of Power Book 2 Ghost. Get in the comments, folks. Let us know your thoughts about tonight's episode. And as always, we'll be back next week for another episode of episode 8 of Power Book 2 Ghost. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. Y'all be safe.